On July 12, 2026, a critical series of regulatory updates suddenly came into sharp focus across India's institutional landscape. Across these independent bodies, a consistent pattern of digital compliance is emerging. Each update enforces strict fiduciary accountability, designed to shield end users from systemic shocks. This diagram maps 5 key policy updates: SEBI's intraday rules, the RBI's ombudsman scheme, EPFO's labor codes, Adelphi's heat stress data, and Campa's ecological funding. Watch how they cluster. SEBI and RBI reorganize under financial market integrity, while the remaining 3 form the foundation of socio-ecological welfare. Governance reform now relies on engineering the digital and legal architecture, so that when a systemic failure occurs, the burden falls on the institution, not the vulnerable end user. We begin with the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which regulates mutual fund asset management companies, or AMCs. This flowchart illustrates a specific mechanical problem, the intraday liquidity mismatch. When a mutual fund pays redeeming investors in the morning but does not receive its market settlement funds until the afternoon, it creates a temporary cash vacuum. This is a timing gap, completely distinct from actual insolvency. To bridge this gap, SEBI's September 2026 circular permits mutual funds to utilize intraday borrowing. But there is a strict regulatory safeguard. The AMC must bear all borrowing costs and losses. These operational expenses cannot be charged to the mutual fund scheme, protecting the investor's net asset value. By granting operational flexibility to the institution, while legally walling off the retail investor's wealth from institutional inefficiency, the regulator enforces fiduciary accountability. A parallel tightening of accountability is occurring in the banking sector under the Reserve Bank of India. Effective July 1, 2026, the RBI rolled out its updated Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, replacing the 2021 framework. This map shows the mechanics of the One Nation, One Ombudsman architecture. Instead of navigating disparate regional offices, all complaint data is now routed into a single, centralized digital node, the Centralized Receipt and Processing Center in Chandigarh. The jurisdiction of this central node has expanded. It now directly integrates banks, non-banking financial companies, prepaid payment instrument issuers, and credit information companies. The scheme equips this centralized system with specific financial mechanisms, compensation limits of up to 30 lakh rupees for consequential loss, and up to 3 lakh rupees for harassment and time loss. By centralizing complaint management and offering cost-free, non-adversarial dispute resolution, the state actively corrects the power asymmetry between large financial entities and retail consumers, upgrading financial inclusion. Moving to the second pillar, socio-ecological welfare, we see a sharp divide between the formal and informal economies, beginning with the June 2026 notification of the new EPF, EPS, and EDLI schemes. For formal workers, these codes mandate continuous balances, UAN portability, and enforce accountability on the principal employer for contract workers. Yet these formal codes contain a massive blind spot. They largely exclude the vast informal sector, specifically agriculture and construction laborers, who are currently facing escalating systemic climate risks. The physical reality for these laborers is severe. Data from Adelphi Global highlights the extreme occupational heat exposure faced by agricultural workers in harvested fields. Construction workers face identical vulnerabilities, navigating intense physical labor within urban heat islands. The Adelphi report quantifies this crisis. Informal workers in these sectors are losing approximately 20 or more working days annually to heat stress. This flowchart details the resulting poverty trap pathway. Heat exposure causes a direct loss in daily wages. Simultaneously, the physical toll drives up out-of-pocket health expenditures, predictably pushing the worker into debt and deeper poverty. Formal labor codes protect digitally integrated participants, but standard heat action plans that rely purely on weather alerts offer no utility to daily wage earners. Mitigating this requires structural adaptation, such as wet bulb temperature monitoring and climate-linked social insurance. The final piece of this governance matrix is National Campa, which manages net present value funds gathered when natural forest land is diverted for development. In July 2026, the 7th governing body signaled a distinct policy shift, moving away from simplistic monoculture plantation accounting toward complex ecological and community restoration. This shift is evident in the 3,000 crore rupee Astandhan Sanrakshan Yojana, explicitly designed to conserve roughly 15,000 community-managed sacred groves outside conventional protected areas. Similarly, a 600 crore rupee extension of the Mishti scheme targets the restoration of critical coastal mangrove ecosystems, calibrating interventions based on exact tidal hydrology. Campa is also increasingly directing funds toward targeted species recovery, starting with endangered river dolphins. It includes high-altitude apex predators like the snow leopard, and it funds habitat protection for megaherbivores like the greater one-horned rhinoceros to aid floodplain grassland recovery. To enforce this ecological shift, digital accountability measures have been activated, including the Harit Sankalp portal for QR-based nursery traceability and strict digital APO fund tracking. Ecological restoration requires tracing the genetic quality of seeds, integrating local community rights, and restoring precise ecological functions. Across finance, labor, and the environment, the Indian state in 2026 is defined by the digitization of accountability. By tracking intraday mutual fund loans, centralizing credit bureau complaints, and QR coding afforestation, this architecture directly shifts the liability for systemic failure onto the institutional provider. But there is a strict limit to what this digital net can catch. Institutional frameworks successfully protect those already integrated into the formal digital economy. The true test of India's development trajectory will be its ability to extend this fiduciary protection to the margins, building climate-resilient safety nets for informal labor, and moving from bureaucratic accounting to genuine ecological survival.